Russia launched an overnight drone attack on Ukraine's capital Kyiv on Sunday night. Ukrainian officials said Russia used Iranian-made Shahid drones in the attack. Ukraine's Air Force claimed it successfully intercepted at least 8 drones. This was Russia's first overnight attack on Kyiv after a gap of 12 days. Meanwhile, fighting between Russia and Ukraine intensified on the Eastern Front on Sunday. Ukraine's armed forces released footage showing a strike on Russian units on the front line. Ukraine also claimed it was closing in on the eastern city of Bakhmut. Meanwhile, Russia claims it successfully thwarted attacks by the Ukrainian army in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia. Riots across France continued for the 5th night. Over 45,000 police officers, including specialized units, have been deployed in the cities of Paris, Marseille and Lyon. France has also implemented a countrywide ban on demonstrations and gatherings. At least 1,300 people have been detained. This comes as thousands of people clashed with the French police over the fatal shooting of a teenager. Remember, the child was killed by police officers after failing to comply at a police checkpost on Tuesday. The home of a Paris suburb mayor was attacked by rioters on Sunday. The mayor's house was set on fire while his family was inside. His wife and 2 children sustained burn injuries as they fled their home. Local prosecutors have launched an investigation for attempted murder. However, no suspects have been arrested. Meanwhile, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said he was monitoring the unrest in France. Scholz said, and I quote, "I don't expect France will become unstable, even if the images are very distressing." Scholz was set to begin his 2-day visit of France from Sunday. The trip has been postponed due to the ongoing unrest. Israeli police forces raided the West Bank city of Jenin in the early hours of Monday. At least 3 civilians were killed. Several Palestinians were injured by the Israeli strike. Israel's military said it was targeting a building which allegedly served as the command center for a terror outfit. Meanwhile, Israel will purchase 25 F-35 stealth fighter jets from the US. The deal is worth $3 billion. The additional 25 aircraft will bring the number of F-35 jets operated by Israel to a total of 75. Remember, Israel was the first country outside the US to acquire the F-35 stealth fighter aircraft. Another mass shooting took place in the US on Sunday. This time, it was in Baltimore City in the state of Maryland. 2 people were killed while 28 others were injured in the shooting. According to local officials, 3 victims are in critical condition. Police officials say they have launched a hunt to nab the suspects who are still at large. The UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak unveiled a new hiring plan for the country's National Health Service, or NHS. The country's health service faced a staff shortage during the COVID-19 pandemic. Sunak said the hiring plan will be implemented swiftly to tackle the shortage. Currently, there are over 100,000 vacancies. The NHS estimates this gap could triple in size by 2037, that is, if no action is taken. Sunak's government plans to invest $3 billion for the hiring of NHS staff over the next 5 years.
So today, we're announcing the most
Protests broke out against Sweden's Quran burning incident in Pakistan's Karachi city. Remember, a Quran was desecrated outside a mosque in Sweden's capital, Stockholm, last week. This has drawn backlash from multiple Islamic countries. People in Karachi stomped on replicas of the Swedish flag. They also urged the Pakistani government to boycott relations with Sweden. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif tweeted that he was appalled by the Quran burning incident in Sweden. Protests erupted outside the Supreme Electoral Tribunal office in the Central American nation of Guatemala. Hundreds of voters demanded fresh presidential elections. They alleged electoral fraud after the first round of voting ended last Sunday. Guatemala's former First Lady, Sandra Torres, is up against Bernardo Arevalo in the presidential polls. Neither of the candidates secured a majority in the first round. The Election Commission has planned a runoff in August. Thousands rallied in Australia in support of a campaign to recognise the rights for indigenous people. This comes ahead of a constitutional referendum that aims to secure rights for the Aboriginal and the Torres Strait Islander people. If the referendum is passed, an advisory body for the indigenous people will be established. This body will give the indigenous groups a direct say in policies that affect them. Indigenous Australians account for 3.8% of the population. A powerful tornado ripped through Canada's Alberta province. At least 12 homes and several cars were destroyed due to the twister. No fatalities were reported. The tornado caused power outages in several parts of central Canada. A heat wave in the southern parts of the US is continuing for the second week. Several parts of Texas recorded temperatures reaching 40 degrees Celsius. Electricity consumption reached an all-time high in Texas. Officials advised residents to stay indoors and increase their water intake to prevent dehydration. Meanwhile, northern parts of the US witnessed torrential rain. Several vehicles were submerged in Chicago after the city received a heavy downpour on Sunday. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning in the low-lying areas of Chicago. Officials also advised residents to restrict their travel. Heavy downpour has led to flooding in China's southwestern provinces. Torrential rains caused local rivers to swell, triggering flash floods and landslides. Chinese officials rescued at least 10 people stranded due to the floods. Gushing waters also damaged a bridge and village roads. Meanwhile, several towns were flooded in Japan's southwestern region. Incessant rainfall caused the local river to break its banks. At least one person was killed after being swept away by the gushing waters. 2 people are still missing. Japan's weather agency has predicted heavy rainfall till Wednesday. A village located in the northeast of Indonesia's capital Jakarta is witnessing the impact of climate change. Shores of the village are being eroded due to rising sea levels. The local community is struggling to safeguard their homes against the erosion. Scientists have said parts of the village could be completely submerged in the coming years. The Indonesian government is considering relocating at least 300 families due to the rising sea level. Thailand hosted a garbage picking competition in the capital city of Bangkok. 58 teams participated in the challenge. In teams of 3, people collected plastic waste, glass bottles, cans, and paper waste. In total, 170 kilograms of trash was collected in 1 hour. Climate experts say that Japan's plan to dump water from the Fukushima nuclear plant violated international law. They quoted Article 192 of the UN Convention on the Law of Seas. Article 192 stipulates that states have the obligation to protect and preserve marine environment. Japan has reaffirmed that the treated waters of Fukushima are not hazardous. This is despite investigators finding traces of radioactive material called tritium in the waters. On to business now. China has urged the Netherlands to not hinder bilateral agreement in the semiconductor industry. The comments were made during a media event. Beijing has asked the European country to not abuse export controls. Last week, the Dutch government announced new restrictions on the export of some semiconductor equipment to China. Meanwhile, the European Union will deepen cooperation with Japan on semiconductors. The EU and Japan will work together to monitor the chip supply chain and facilitate the exchange of researchers and engineers. The Union will also be supportive of Japanese semiconductor companies considering operating in the region. Reports say Barclays is looking to terminate its corporate banking relationship with British financial firm ODay Asset Management. This is predominantly due to sexual assault allegations against its founder, Crispin O'Day. Last month, media outlets reported that O'Day had allegedly assaulted or harassed at least 13 women. According to reports, Goldman Sachs is considering exiting its partnership with Apple. The bank is reportedly in talks with American Express to take over its Apple credit card and other ventures with the tech giant. In 2019, the iPhone maker and Goldman Sachs partnered to roll out a virtual credit card. Deutsche Bank's head of human resources, Michael Igner, has decided to leave the bank. The move follows an investigation into Igner's purchase of the company's bonds. He bought bonds worth thousands of dollars days before Deutsche reported its earnings. This flouted the firm's rules designed to prevent insider trading. However, it is not certain that the exit is a result of the investigation. Oil giant Shell's head of renewables department, Thomas Brostrom, is leaving the company. He joined Shell in 2021 and took over to lead the renewables division in February 2022. Brostrom's exit comes after the company's CEO scaled back its energy transition plans. Last month, Shell CEO announced a shift back to oil and gas production while paring back investments in renewables. Elon Musk has announced that Twitter will temporarily limit the number of posts an account can read per day. As per the new rules, verified users can read 10,000 tweets per day, whereas non-verified users can read 1,000 tweets. Meanwhile, new unverified readers on the platform can only read 500 posts a day. Musk says that the move is aimed at discouraging extreme levels of data scraping. Meanwhile, an Australian project management firm has filed a lawsuit against Twitter. It has accused the social media giant of breaching the contract by failing to pay its invoices. The Australian firm is seeking cumulative payments of more than $600,000. Google has hired Brazil's former president, Michel Temer. He will help the tech giant with the lobbying efforts as the country considers proposing an internet bill. The fake news bill will put the onus on internet companies to find and report illegal or misleading materials on their platform. The companies will be subjected to heavy fines if they fail to do so. The bill has attracted criticism from many tech companies. US senators have written to Mark Zuckerberg. This is regarding reports that accuse Instagram of promoting child sexual abuse material. Last month, media reports showed that Instagram's recommendation algorithms have been connecting and promoting some accounts. These accounts allegedly sold child sexual abuse content. Moving to sports. In cricket, Australia beat England by 43 runs to win the second Ashes Test. The match was played at the revered Lord's Stadium in London. England needed to score a target of 371 in the second innings. However, Ben Stokes' heroic 155 was not enough for the English team to register a win. Australia now lead the five-match tournament 2-0. In the Cricket World Cup qualifiers, Sri Lanka thrashed Zimbabwe by 9 wickets on Sunday. Sri Lanka chose to field first and restricted Zimbabwe to just 165 runs. Sri Lanka's Pathum Nissanka scored an unbeaten 101 runs to secure victory. With this win, Sri Lanka has earned itself a place in the upcoming 50-over Cricket World Cup to be held in India. In football, English club Liverpool have confirmed the signing of Dominic Sobaski for $76 million. The Hungarian player will make a move from German club RB Leipzig. The 22-year-old has scored 20 goals and provided 22 assists in 91 games for Leipzig. He joined the club in January 2021. Soboslai is the second Leipzig star to make a big-money move to the Premier League after Christopher Nkunku's arrival at Chelsea. India beat Lebanon 4-2 on penalties to reach the South Asian Football Federation final. The match was held in Bengaluru's Sri Kantirava Stadium on Saturday. India's Sunil Chhetri, Anwar Ali, Mahesh Singh Naurem and Udanta Singh scored the penalties. India will now play Kuwait in the finals on Tuesday. In tennis, world number 3 Daniil Medvedev hailed Novak Djokovic as the greatest tennis player in history. Medvedev said that Djokovic's ability to win even on his bad days distinguished him from the rest. Djokovic won his 23rd Grand Slam title at the French Open last month. He's now eyeing to equal Roger Federer's record of 8 Wimbledon titles. Indian tennis player Yuki Bhambri won his maiden ATP title in the Mallorca Open 2023. He won alongside South African partner Lloyd Harris in the men's doubles category. The duo beat the Dutch-Austrian pair of Robin Haas and Philip Oswald 6-3 and 6-4 to bag the ATP Tour crown. With this win, Bhambri also achieved his career best ranking of 58. In athletics, India's Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra won the top spot in the Lausanne Diamond League 2023. The javelin thrower won the gold with a 87.66 meter throw. Chopra is returning from a muscle injury. He previously missed out on 2 athletic meets due to a strained back. Meanwhile, India's Murli Srishankar finished 5th in the long jump category at the Lausanne Diamond League. In golf, player Taylor Gooch has become the first 3-time winner in the LIV Golf League. Gooch snatched a one-shot victory over fellow American golfer Bryson DeChambeau in Spain. 31-year-old Gooch previously won in Australia and Singapore in consecutive weeks in April 2023. In Formula One, Red Bull's Max Verstappen has won his first ever Australian Grand Prix. The win came amid huge drama in Melbourne. Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton finished second, while Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso came third, finishing the podium. The race at Melbourne's Albert Park took 2.5 hours to conclude. American race driver Denny Hamlin beat New Zealand's Shane Van Gisbergen in the NASCAR Chicago Street Race. He completed a lap of the Chicago Street course in 1 minute 28.435 seconds. Some of the world's best drivers were speeding through well-known streets in Chicago. Despite periodic rainfall, racers went through a 12-turn, 2.2-mile course across Chicago's Grant Park in about 90 seconds. And now in the world of entertainment, American media personality Khloe Kardashian has said that she hates being in her 30s. She called it the worst decade ever. Khloe Kardashian recently turned 39 years old and said she cannot wait to be in her 40s. The American socialite also shared the gifts she received from her friends on Instagram. Actor Arnold Schwarzenegger has said that everyone is frightened of artificial intelligence and where it is going to go. He said that the futuristic plot of his 1991 hit, Terminator 2: Judgment Day, isn't far-fetched anymore. He added that at the time, the movie only scratched the surface of AI. Schwarzenegger also said that after all those decades, it has become reality and it's not anymore a fantasy. Singer Selena Gomez took to Instagram and said that singer Rima has changed her life forever. She expressed gratitude for the song calm down. She said, and I quote, "Thank you for choosing me to be a part of one of the biggest songs in the world." Hollywood's hospitality union, Unite Here Local 11, is now on strike. The union includes Hollywood's hotel workers, including housekeepers. These workers are demanding higher pay and job benefits. Unite Here Local 11 members have said that they will not return to work. This means some of Hollywood's most notable hospitality properties won't have staff during the 4th of July celebrations. A UK prosecutor has alleged that actor Kevin Spacey is a sexual bully. The remarks came at the beginning of a trial in which Spacey is charged with 12 offences against 4 men. Spacey filed a not guilty plea over a dozen sexual assault allegations. The actor faces charges on 12 offences, including 3 counts of indecent assault and 7 counts of sexual assault. Spacey was charged last year. The Flash actor Ezra Miller has released a statement on the lifting of a temporary harassment order. Miller said that protective orders are meant to provide safety for individuals, families, and children who are in danger. He added that they are not meant to be used as weapons by those seeking attention or personal vengeance. A temporary harassment order was issued against Miller in November last year. Influencer Jackie Miller-James is awake after being in a coma and has been reunited with her newborn child. Miller-James was placed in a medically induced coma while she was being treated for a brain injury while she was pregnant. Reports say that severe bleeding prompted doctors to perform an emergency C-section to save her child. Singer Bebe Rexha wore protective eyewear on stage. This comes days after a fan threw their phone at her during a concert. The singer got injured while she was on stage. She shared pictures of her injury with the caption, "I am good." The fan was arrested and charged with assault. Film producer Lawrence Terman has died at the age of 96. The Oscar-nominated producer was a part of several landmark movies, including The Graduate and The Great White Hope. Terman's career lasted 6 decades. His son, John Terman, called his father's death the passing of an era. German fitness influencer and YouTuber Joe Lindner died at the age of 30. Lindner died due to an aneurysm. Aneurysm causes abnormal swelling or a bulge in the wall of a blood vessel. Lindner has over 9 million followers on Instagram. His girlfriend took to social media and revealed that Lindner had complained of neck pain.